Right, today I'm bringing you a video on the Daisy 340, and I had my third breakage, but I'm not saying it with any malice at all. We're going to get in really tight and look at what happened, why I was excited to shoot this video, on top of the fact that I have 3 other operating units, and it's been quite the adventure with these, pretty affordable guns. But so this is special because the post didn't actually break off like the other two, and it did go 6,200 shots because I didn't dry fire the hammer, okay? Because that just slams into that, and those other two only lasted 2,000 shots. This one lasted 6,200 because when the piston, you cock your gun and the piston catches on that spot right there, it puts immense amount of stress on that piston sear, the catch point right here. So when you do pull the trigger, it does come up and slows it down quite a bit. So the Crossman one, as I point out, doesn't have that issue, doesn't have a hammer to worry about. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at this under really intense magnification so you can see it went on there. So I just was kind of excited to shoot this because it didn't actually break off, but because it bent and it was starting to break down. So let me see if I can get some light on there for you. Okay, do you see that crack? There you go. You can see that pretty bright as day. And then there is another one in front. It's a little bit too small to see. And so then what happened is that this thing, from there, it bent to the side. So if we get in a zoom of the hammer, okay, you can see that it is slightly leaning to one side. I actually bent it back, and I knew that was a problem, that I could even bend it. Zinc cast, it shouldn't be bending, but I bent it back. And that was enough for the gun not to work anymore, because what you have to understand is that post right there, if it is bent, it's starting to obviously fall apart and break apart. It was bending back. It was really sticking out at an odd angle at the back of this, and I could see all that, bending to the side, leaning back. And so when that anchor point is not right, then it just doesn't cock anymore. That piston sear you see right here, when I pull the trigger, it goes up and down. It doesn't work without a proper anchor. So that's that. I'm going to try to get another SEAR assembly to replace. I was asked by someone to do a video on the SEAR assembly. I had one. It was just overwhelming for a lot of younger shooters, especially with all the moving parts and torsion springs in there. And so I showed you the post, I showed you the piston sear. And, until Daisy offers us like a 4140 steel kit for this, I'll try to get it replaced. But if I can, if Daisy for whatever reason can't do that for me, you have to understand, I bought 3 of these for $30 all in. $30 for 3 of them from Walmart, and they're a little finicky with guns these days, so I can't get that anymore. So I have 3 other working models here. I have the Crossman. I have the Marksman 1018, which I love the look of it. I love handling it. It's the least good performer out of this batch because of the rudimentary trigger, but I still like it, and I like shooting it at 3 to 5 yards. The only one I'll come as close as 3 yards with glasses. And then the best value I still feel is this DX17. So let's go over this. So I have had some young shooters comment that they've had problems with this. I call it the 45, but okay, the PSM 45. I mean, Crossman does give them some gaudy names, but I just like calling it the 45. But either way, I'm a defender of this pistol. It has had no malfunctions. Even with these 2 other ones, I've had some dry fires when the BB doesn't quite load right. Very few on the DX. But I've had no malfunctions. I have hundreds of shots through this. And so what are the 3 things that I'm doing right on this? Okay, I use good lube on here. You can use a 30 grade on the joints. That's okay. I use FP10. I use Black Diamond and Black Widow BBs only. They each have their strengths, and they're both great fits for this gun. So the black BBs, Black Diamond, Black Widow, and how I handle it. Okay, how I charge it. So really slicked out slide, great BBs, and I handle it correctly. Also, what I started doing proactively, you could do this for the 342. Let me get some light on there. Okay, there's a good angle of light. A piece of plastic, the loader comes through there, and there's some grinding against each side of those prongs, and those prongs in front hold the BB in place. And so I put FB10 on top and on the inside, and it gets on the loader, and that'll help extend the life of this. I have a BB right in there right now, but the main thing is when those prongs give out right in that spot right here, that and the rubber breech seal and back, then your gun's done. So I'm doing everything I can to keep it working flawlessly, which it has been. Great BBs helps. But so yes, I'm oiling that, top of that, inside of those prongs, and that's good for this. And that oil won't hurt the rubber seal on the inside and back. So I've just had a blast with this gun. But if you've had it for 4,000 or 5,000 shots, then yeah, it's going to be getting ready to go. But this is my best performer. I'm shooting at 6 and 8 yards away with it. 6 and 8 yards distance. Okay, so all right. So as far as the 10-18, it's been a lot of fun. Just it's 3 to 5 yards. I don't like shooting any further back than 5 yards. I did just recently have to tighten the screw, so do know that the screw in back here is a little finicky. So I just would leave that alone. It actually opened up a crack when I tried to over tighten it. That started to split it open, so I rotated it back. But otherwise, I tightened the other screws. These two were coming loose, and you want to watch that. But otherwise, trouble-free. Very few dry fires. It's just the system of tipping it up. It's been a good gun. The DX17 is still the best one, I feel, though, because just this night I was shooting the laser upside in for 4 yards, all hits in pretty dark conditions. It was getting dark. And then I switched to the flashlight for 5-yard shooting with the hard sights, and it's been a great gun. So I still feel this is the best value, but this is definitely the best performer, accuracy, and I just haven't had any problems with it. And power and accuracy from the 45, as I call it. But yes, PSM 45. All right, well, thank you. And like I said, if you're new to this, I can tell you to get the 340, but the main thing is don't dry fire the hammer. It's going to get old eventually, and you have a few more jam issues with this because the BBs tend to get away in there. But yeah, I have 3 operational units, and we'll see if I can fix my 340. Otherwise, I'm happy with what I got here.